Welcome to MK True Crime. I'm Mark Dargis, your host today. I'm joined by two people who are not just MK True Crime contributors. One is a longtime friend. The other is a soon-to-be longtime friend, Arthur Idala, who I've known for longer than he or I want to admit, and Ashley Merchant, who I became a huge fan of, not the least of which, Ashley, was because of your representation of my daughter's co-counsel, Brian Steele. I just loved the way you handled that.
Thank you.
And as well, I watched you in some other proceedings, which we could talk about on another show, but became a huge fan of both of you, and welcome.
Thanks,
today.
Mark.
We have one of the wonderful things about having you two on is that we're going to do a number of cases today, and it's basically 1 degree of separation. And you'll understand what I'm saying because we're going to start with the death of a young woman in Montauk, New York. And Arthur, do you want to talk about that for a second? Since
Sure.
you'll tell me what I can or can't say.
Well, sometime this past Thursday, I received a call from a friend who knew Martha, the deceased young woman, and her family from Ireland, and obviously the devastation, the tragedy for anyone in any situation. But when you're in a foreign country, like her mom is in Ireland, her aunt, who I've been on the phone with, her sister. This is a healthy young woman who all of a sudden is gone. So it's been a long weekend of us just chatting and talking to law enforcement and trying to figure things out. And once again, I think we could all three of us could say, don't believe everything that you read. I think there's a headline that just came out somewhere, her official cause of death has been revealed. That's just not accurate. I was on the phone again with her aunt within the last hour. And there's still a very intense investigation going on regarding why a young woman is dead. I will tell you that the autopsy reports do show that there was no struggle, no signs of struggle, no defensive wounds on her hand, no obvious signs of trauma. So the autopsy, the medical examiner, is really focusing now on her blood and the other fluids that are getting sent to toxicology to see what's going on. I mean, there were also rumors in the investigation that she possibly had some form of cancer, and that is also being investigated as well. But there is no way to make this sound pleasant in any way, shape, or form. It's a tragedy. This is a young, entrepreneurial, vivacious, gregarious, loving, caring young woman who, her entrepreneurial spirit was effervescent, and anybody who knew her, bragged about that. She's no longer with us, and our thoughts and our prayers are going out to her immediate family. Her aunts are here in America. Her mom's on her way. And, to say they're devastated is definitely an understatement.
What an understatement. And Ashley, as you know, what's the first thing everybody thinks about or jumps to? They start talking about significant others. They start talking about legal trouble. They start talking about everything else, right?
Right. I mean, the first thing you think about is who was she with, And what we've learned is that she was with a gentleman who was significantly older than her, Mr. Durham. He's the one that owned the yacht. She had texted her boyfriend that she would be home around 1:00. She was taking an Uber. And then the police actually came out around 4 a.m. So, you want to start kind of figuring out a timeline. What happened in those hours? Why was she there with this gentleman? What was happening? I mean, everyone's probably heard from their mother, nothing good happens after midnight. At least that's what I was told. And so you always wonder, was there foul play? What was going on? The thing that sort of struck me, and I don't know, Arthur can probably tell me in New York if it's normal, but they said it would take 3 months for the autopsy results. And that just, I mean, as a parent, that's atrocious that you have to wait 3 months for autopsy results. I mean, the one thing that we do know is that there was no violence. And, you all, Mark and Arthur have been in enough autopsies to know that's the first thing you can tell. Is there any violence? That's one of the things.
Ashley makes a great point. And if you don't want to answer, I'm not going to press you, but I would assume one of the first things is the toxicology, A, and then number two, a private autopsy. That's usually what you do in these cases.
Well, you're correct on both fronts, Mark Garagos.